Hey there, another day, another celebrity wrong'un. This has obviously been going on for a while. We've heard about this before, but today the news has come out that Russell Brand has been formally charged with one count of no, has been charged with rape and 2 counts of sexual assault between 1999 and 2005. The Metropolitan Police say the 50-year-old comedian, actor, and author has also been charged with 1 count of oral rape and one count of indecent assault. The charges relate to 4 women. And I have a bit of opinion on this, so here we go. Disclaimers: these are just my thoughts and opinions, my take on this. Speak on behalf of nobody else. And also, I'm inclined to swear, I'll warn you up front. Unfortunately, get passionate, what can you do? He is due to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on Friday the 2nd of May. Police have said Brand is accused of raping a woman in the Bournemouth area in 1999 and indecently assaulting a woman in the Westminster area of London in 2001. He is also accused of orally raping and sexually assaulting a woman in Manchester in Westminster in 2004. I'm not making light of this. Fun fact, I have been orally raped at the age of 14. Not a pleasant thing. Heart goes out to her. The fourth charge alleges that a woman was sexually assaulted in Westminster between 2004 and 2005. So that one is more than one by the sounds of it. Detectives began investigating Brand. This is the important part for me. From Oxfordshire in September 2023, after receiving a number of allegations. Detective and Superintendent Andy Furphy from the Metropolitan Police, sorry, Andy, who is leading the investigation, said the women who have made reports continue to receive support from specially trained officers. The Met's investigation remains open and detectives ask anyone who has been affected by this case or anyone who has any information to come forward and speak with police. This breaking news story is being updated. Please refresh the page. Let's refresh the page and see if anything's been added to it in the couple of hours. It has. It's been updated. I think the comedian has this is a change. The comedian has previously denied the accusations and said all his sexual relationships were absolutely always consensual. Met Police Detective Super. Oh yeah, right, okay. They've just changed and put that in there. Right, okay. Now, there's a couple of things that I just want to stick in alongside there. That's why I'm doing a video on it. It's not just for like, oh, celebrity gossip. Here I am. Now, I don't know whether you've seen it, but if you see it, I'm not one of those YouTubers who can splice things in. I'm so sorry. One woman and a mobile phone me. But I've seen footage of him aboard a plane with P. Diddy, and he looked already off his tits on drugs. And they were going somewhere for the weekend, and it was the whole, you know how P. Diddy was with Justin Bieber, we can't disclose what we're going to get up to, but it's going to be a Diddy weekend, so they were going to get off their fucking tits on drugs and have lots of sex, because that's what P. Diddy did, right? And Russell Brand was in there and doing that thing. Now, if Russell Brand was a decent person, he'd have then come away from there and said, there's something wrong with P. Diddy, mate. Somebody needs to, that's just wrong. But no, he was in it. Now, I used to be, I've always had a massive crush on the dude, right? I don't know what it is. Right? But I've always had a thing for blokes with goofy teeth and glasses and long dark hair, basically, I suppose. Does he wear glasses? I don't think he wears glasses. No, he doesn't wear glasses. But that's like my archetypal type before I discovered like people that I fancy now. Shut up, carry on. Anyways, so this dude, like, he's written 2 bookie books, or is it 3? I don't know. I've read 2. I possess two, read it, like, think this dude's like kind of sound. But from his own mouth, you know, that the dude has admitted to being somewhat of a sexual an utter, complete and utter fucking pervert. Sex addiction. The guy had a sex addiction and at the same time a drug addiction. So at the end of the day, this dude probably don't remember half the stuff he's fucking done. And he probably went too far on more than one occasion. And I'm not defending him at all. You know, like, I think he is a wrong un. And yeah, so I'm not defending him, but you know, like, he was a sex addict, so it is more than likely that he's done this. Obviously, we can't condemn him until he's been formally charged, but he's not been convicted yet, so we can't, you know, jump on the bandwagon, grab a pitchforks and torches and whatever. But it is most likely that a sex addict with a drug addiction did stick it somewhere where it wasn't particularly wanted at some point in time. Am I wrong? But the dodgy thing that I find about this whole thing is the dates. So he's being accused of this. Like, they've been investigating him since September of 2023, and I remember it coming out and him saying, like, no, this weren't me, which is what they all do. Nobody's going to come out and say, got me back to rights, governor. Yeah, I fucking did her and she didn't want me to, but I'm a celebrity. And that, it goes back to celebrity culture of people, you know, I should imagine that a lot of the women that he had sex with didn't find him sexually attractive. Like, or intellectually attractive, because he is pompous and up his own arse. Can't say no, I am myself, right? But he, you know, like, was very much, you know, like, here I am, this beautiful guy, and I will have sex with you if, you know, like, you lucky thing. Celebrities just thinking that they can have anybody, because that's kind of what celebrity does for you. It gives you, you know, like, access to tuppy that otherwise wouldn't be interested in you if you bumped into her in a pub. But because you're rich and famous, it's like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? Don't even get me started on the TV actor. Like, literally, when some people out there know who it was, the top top sports presenter, sorry, Lynx, the very famous soap actor in the UK, and I diddlies with him. No, God, he's ruined. But because he was rich and famous, do you know what I mean? I know I've been on that side and fucked an ugly man, literally because of who he was. You know, like, so I can't say no. But yeah, so yes, I think he's done something. You cannot go through life with a raging drug addiction and a raging sex addiction and not have done something untoward. So yes, I do believe that he's done something. Whether he's done specifically what these people are saying, don't know. You know what I mean? But I should imagine that in the sack, he is less than a giver. I would guess. Never had sex with him in myself, but you know, I would imagine that he's less of a giver and more of a taker because of the fame and the fucking, you know, entitlement that gives to you. But September 23. So I checked when he got baptised, and this is me why I'm like, Richard Musselbrand, right? He got baptised on the 28th of April 2024. Now, I'm like, fun fact for those who don't know, 28th of April is Ed Balls Day. We celebrate Ed Balls Day in our house. I don't remember what year it happened, but he's now a TV interviewee. I don't know, don't watch telly. Used to be an MP, decided to Google himself, but instead tweeted his own name. He decided to Google his own name and accidentally tweeted it on the 28th of April. That's why it's called Ed Balls Day. One of my favourite holidays of the year. And that was the date last year that Russell Brand decided to get baptised. And nobody knows which church he baptised himself into, like, from what I can find. Could be the Church of Satan for all we know. But as religion is kind of like, sort of like, ultimately part of what I do, and like my whole journey of how this channel started, not So Says Kez, So Says Kez has been going since beginning of the 90s, but this channel 17 years ago, how I got down on the path to where I am now, or what made me start my channel in the first place, was that I was looking for God. All right, I wanted to know. I asked the universe, I'm like, right, okay, teach me. I've been spending all my life just saying the Bible's a tool of control. I want to know about the Bible. Next day, day after, knock on my door, Jehovah's Witness, do you want to learn about the Bible? Do you want a Bible study course? I'm like, yeah, you would not believe how much I want this. And I was on that Bible course for 1.5 years before they kicked me off because I couldn't get past Genesis. And I don't see how there's any getting past fucking Genesis. But here we are. Now, so I've gone down this spiritual road back in the early noughties, sort of about 2007. Yeah, 2007 I put myself on the experiment. And I felt like ultimately that I found what God actually is, right? And now Russell Brand is meant to have had a spiritual awakening years ago. Right? Now, once you realise that there isn't a single entity that's apart from you called God, who makes all your decisions for you, who's responsible for everything good and bad, and it's not your thing. Once you realise that, you can't then ever go back to religion. You can't ever then say that all of everything that I do, I'm putting it in the hands of somebody outside of me. You can't do that. Once you gain enlightenment, you can't then just go like nah. And so the second that guy got himself baptized, I'm like, fuck off. No way whatsoever Russell Brand has turned his fucking life over to God. Because the guy is already meant to have had a spiritual awakening and then just gone back. But, boom, it were a couple of months after he got done for this. He was told, mate, your time's ticking down. So maybe he did it. I don't know. My personal theory, and please tell me if you think I'm just being a bitch about it, but I personally think that the reason that he got baptised is so that he looked in the eyes of the public like a good man, and he knew in his heart what he's done in his life and that he is not a good man. And I think it was an attempt to dupe the public. I don't trust him for fucking shit. I don't trust anybody in TV. Well, Davina McCall, but I've met her and like she's lovely, but she might have turned over the years. Don't know. It was a decade or two, a couple of decades ago that I met her, and she was just absolutely bloody lovely. But yeah, like if you're in TV, you're turning a blind eye to something. Surely there's people everywhere in there that are wrong uns. But anyways, yeah, so that's what I think about it. I think that the reason he got baptised is because he knew he was coming down and he wanted to garner public favour. In my personal opinion. Please let me know if you think I'm right or wrong. Please get involved in the comments. Please consider subscribing. If you're not, please consider giving me a little thumbs up so that I know that I'm at least being heard and people think that I'm not perhaps such a nutter as everybody else does. Anyways, thank you for coming. Please come back and never forget that I love you all. Bye.